Hi fashion lovers, welcome to Fun Fashion YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be sharing with you simple way to make a cupcake dress for girls. This dress is so unique and beautiful that it makes heads turn. If this is what you would like to learn how to cut and sew, then you need to watch this video till the end. Please do well to like this video, subscribe if you have not subscribed, and drop me nice comments. Let's start with the drafting of the upper part of the dress. Before we cut the skirt, that is the down part. This is the measurement that I am working with. Chest measurement of 20, waist measurement of 20, half length of 8, gown full length of 18, and shoulder measurement of 8.5. I'll be using this line as the shoulder line. So I'll go ahead and mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. I have 8.5 divided by 2, 4.25. So I'll mark 4.25. I'll be drafting the back bodies from this line that I marked here. So I'll also mark the shoulder measurement from that line divided by 2. Okay. Then I'll go ahead to mark the chest line. To get the chest line measurement, bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark the half length. That is the shoulder to waist. I'll create the shoulder slope. I have shoulder slope of 1.5 for the front. Okay, then for the neck width and neck depth, I'll divide the bust measurement by 12. I have 1.6. When I divide the bust measurement by 12, I'll have 1.6. So I'll go ahead and mark 1.6. From that neck width, I'll connect to the shoulder slope. Then I'll create the armhole curve. I'll divide what I have left from the shoulder slope to the chest line by 2. At that middle point, I'll come in here by ½ inch to create the armhole curve. I'll also create the armhole for the back. I'll take the same neck width that I have for the front, 1.6. The neck depth of 1 inch, and I'll connect. Then I'm going to mark the back shoulder slope. I have shoulder slope of 1 inch for the back. I'll mark 1 inch down and connect to the neck width. Then I'll also create the back armhole curve. I'll measure what I have from the shoulder slope to the chest line and divide by 2. At that point, I'll come in by ½ inch. Okay, to create the armhole curve. Okay, so this is what I have now. What I'm going to do now is to start marking the body measurements. Chest measurement of 20 divided by 4 will give me 5. I'll also come to the waistline and mark the waist measurement divided by 4. And then I'll connect. Then for the back, I'll also do the same thing. So for the neck, I want to come out here by ½ inch because I don't want to maintain the basic neckline. So I will come out by ½ inch to create a new neck width and depth. Okay, so this is what I have. For the back, I'm going to be having V-neck for the back. So I'll mark down 6 inches. And then, remember I came out here by ½ inch. So I'm going to be marking ½ inch there as well and connect. Okay, so this is what I have for the back and the front. So what I'm going to do next is to add allowances. I also marked down the yoke from the chest line measurement, okay? And I added 1 inch by the side and ½ inch all round the other side of the pattern. I proceeded to mark out ½ inch from the shoulder measurement in order to make the shoulder shorter because this is a sleeveless dress. You can maintain the shoulder measurements if you want to maintain the shoulder measurements. I'll place on my fabric and add all the necessary allowances and cut. So I'll go ahead and cut the down part of the dress. So I'll fold into 2 and fold again. If you want, you can get yours in bias form. I'm going to be getting mine in straight form. So I'll go on and mark the waist measurement divided by 4. I'll mark down 1 inch here as the waist line. I'll mark the waist measurement at that line waist measurement divided by 4. I'll mark the full length of the dress. Remember the bodice is 8. So I'll be taking out the bodice to get the full length of the dress. Then I'll come to the hemline and mark the hip measurement divided by 4. Then after my hip measurement, I'm going to come out by 2 inches for my hip measurement. Okay. Then I'll add the side seam allowance. So I have 1 inch side seam allowance. Then I'll connect to the waistline. I'll come to the waist and mark ½ inch joining seam allowance. Then zipper allowance for the center back. I'll also cut lining pieces in this form. I'll go over to my sewing machine and join the sides with the 1 inch side seam allowance. So this is the down part after stitching the sides. So I'll go ahead now and mark where I will do the ruffles. Okay, from the waistline, I'll be marking down 1 inch. Okay, then another 1 inch. You can decide to do your ruffle pleating at 2 inches, 3 inches spacing, depending on how wide you want it to be, or even ½ inch spacing. So I want to be maintaining 1 inch spacing. Okay, so I'm going to be stopping here. If you want, you can extend yours down. I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. So I have about 20 yards of this net. Okay, but this is 10 yards. I have to fold in 10 yards first so that I can cut 10 yards first before I cut the remaining one. I'll be cutting 8 inches for the first line. The first line will be 8 inches, the second line 10 inches, the third line 12, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14. Okay, if you want, you can make yours more or less depending on whatever you want to achieve. So I'm not going to be using this rough. I'll trim off the rough. Okay, from there, I'll mark the 8 inches. Then the second step will be 10 inches, followed by 12, and then 14. So you can label them 8, 10, 12. So since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines, that means 8, 10, 12, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14. So that means 14 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 14 is going to be 5 pieces. I'll go off camera now and cut more of these 14 pieces. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is to mark out the zipper allowance at the middle of the back. So I'll measure the first line. Okay. So this is the first net. I'll go over to the sewing machine now and pleat this first net into 32 inches because this first line is 32 inches. The second net will also pleat it into the measurement of the second line. Go on and pleat the net like you see me doing in the video. I am pleating at the center of the net, okay? Make sure that you are pleating at the center. If you know how best you can be able to achieve this, you can go on and do that. Once I'm done pleating, I'll go ahead and measure it to know if it is up to the length that I want. Go on and pleat the second net just like you did for the first one at the middle. Please note that this net is a very lightweight net. So make sure that when choosing your net, you choose a very lightweight net so that the dress will be lightweight. This is the down part. So on the first line, I'm going to stitch the first pleat that is in 8 inches. So I'm going to stitch it on top of that line. Starting from that zipper allowance, I will not sew on top of my zipper allowance. I will sew before my zipper allowance. This is what it looks like. Okay, so I'll go on and stitch the second line. So I'll go ahead now and stitch the other lines exactly the same way that I've stitched the first and the second line. I'll do that off camera to avoid this video getting too long. So this is what it looks like after stitching. Can you see the inside? So this is it. I also went ahead to sew crinoline at the edge of the dress in order to stabilize it. So it's best you use hard net or gum stay on this part to stabilize this down part first before stitching the net on the skirt part. So I'll leave that aside. And for the upper part, I have already marked down the allowances on my fabric and cut. And this is the center front. I also went ahead to gum the lace fabric to my fabric. Okay, I used hairstay as interfacing. I also went ahead to cut the lining pieces for it. So I will install the zipper, do the facing, and then join the yoke to the down part of the bodice, and then turn everything over with the lining pieces. So this is what the upper part of the dress looks like after turning with the lining. I went ahead to fix the lining of the down part. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to join the upper part to the down part of the dress. Now I'll join them together starting from the middle point, and then I'll also extend the zipper down. Okay, I'll now go over to my sewing machine and stitch. I'll close here up a little bit. So now our cupcake dress is ready and on the mannequin. So all you have to do now is to go on and trim the ruffles into any shape of your choice. You need to carefully do the trimming. Believe me, a lot of patience is required here to be able to get a good result. But the result is worth it. Don't forget to hit on the subscribe button if you have not subscribed. Turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. See you in the next video.